Hey guys, and welcome to Gwent, the Witcher card game. My name is Jaggerous, and today we're going to be playing some Skellige on the ranked ladder. And Skellige at the moment is very much kind of a mid-range list, because I kind of feel like Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, my deck has no pathetic cards, and that's kind of how Skellige feels after this patch. So we have a warrior mid-range list. For you guys here. I actually do need to switch this though to magic lamp. There we go. I was just doing some experimentation. So here is our list, and this list you'll notice has a lot of warriors. I have actually a variant of this list as well, which is a Wild Boar of the Sea variant, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. So let's go through the list first and foremost. So this list is all about your warriors. You've got your second wind, so you can play a Skellige unit from your graveyard, and because of the new evolving card Harald, he plays a warrior from your graveyard, and you can use second wind to resurrect Harald to resurrect a warrior. You know, it's kind of nutty. And by round 3, so when you play him in round 1, you wouldn't play him in round 1 because you don't have a graveyard, but play a bronze warrior from your graveyard and damage it by 2. Bear in mind he only transforms when he's in your hand, so he won't transform from the graveyard. So if you played him in round 1, this is what you'd be able to resurrect. Then we have Harald Warmonger, play a bronze warrior from your graveyard, devotion at the start of the round, while in hand or deck, transform. And we are running a devotion list, so we will be able to transform him. Then we have Veil, play a bronze warrior from your graveyard. Whenever you play a warrior, damage a random enemy unit by 1, ignoring its armor. This is really big, this ability here, because this card is so frustrating to play against, because if you don't deal with it in round 3, then it's just going to ping you for loads of damage, because we're playing that many warriors. But if you do kill it, then it becomes a second wind target. So you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't, unless you maybe... Actually, you can't even lock it, right? Because it's got Veil. I was going to say if you lock it, but that's not an option either. So Harald is pretty powerful. And that's why this variant is a Heimdall list, because Heimdall is a warrior, as opposed to Wild Boar, because Wild Boar is a boat. It ain't no warrior. Deal 1 damage to random enemy units in a row, multiplied by the number of units on that row. So we played this right at the end, and this is also going to trigger him to deal damage. And if we can synergize this with the one of An Craite Greatsword here, whenever an enemy unit on the opposite row takes damage, boost off by 1, we have a really nice kind of final play finisher there with synergies. Okay, then we have Tyrggvi Tuirseach. Ooh, that's fun to say. He's veteran, so he's on 5 strength, but by round 3 he'll go up to 7, and he gives an enemy unit Rupture. Now, Rupture, at the end of the owner's turn, the unit will damage equal to its power. So it can be blocked by things like armor. It's going to deal damage to armor. It's going to be blocked by a shield, for example. You can also purify this effect. But this card gives you insane reach, especially in round 1, right? If you know your opponent passes, you can very easily catch up with a lot of tempo with this card. We have Blood Eagle, which is an echo card, which means it will go from the top of your, well, from your graveyard to the top of your deck the first time that you play it when the round changes. So we damage an enemy unit by 2, then play a warrior from our deck with a provision cost of 8 or less. Anything from scale down, basically. However, if we have Bloodthirst 3, we will play any warrior, and if we Deathblow, we can play any warrior, which includes things like Heimdall and Harald and Tyrggvi. You see what I mean? Warriors. And Morkvarg Heart of Terror and Skjordal, and yeah, you get the image. You get the image. So we can use this to thin our deck, and we can use this to get gold cards. So yeah, pretty good. Then we have We have Svalblod Totem. So we play the totem, we get the 2 fanatics either side, which are 4s, then we click the totem on the next round, these get damaged and turn into bear abominations. Or on like a later round, you have options. It's just a decent card, really. That's kind of all there is to say about this, is it's good value. And the thing is also with those fanatics, we can actually synergize them, or at least the one on the left, with the Drummon Villager, because she gives bleeding 4 to the unit to her right, and then gives bleeding 4 to an enemy unit. So if we put bleeding on a fanatic and then transform it, the bleeding would be removed. Similarly, if you try to apply bleeding to a Veil unit, like Harald the Cripple, then the bleeding doesn't actually apply, and you would just get 8 points for 4. And this is where I'm saying, like, this deck has no pathetic cards, because this is an 8 points for 4 card, like, and it's really easy to do that. There's a lot of good value in the bronze core now because of the expansion. So we have Morkvarg, we can play him to damage an enemy unit by 1, and we repeat this until it's damaged, so he goes like ping, 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 ping on boosted units until it is damaged, and that is a really nice play with a Greatsword. You know, final round, let's say you resurrected Harald, then got a Greatsword, then used a Morkvarg onto, say, an Osril. You're going to damage that Osril down to 1, and the Greatsword is going to grow for every one of those pings, which is why last day is really important. We have Hammond. Again, he's just kind of a good value card. We move an enemy unit to the other row, we give it bleeding 2. Increases damage for any pirates. Just that's something that very occasionally matters. But typically just having the movement is nice. And he is, again, decent in terms of the points for provisions. Next up, we have Skjordal. Skjordal Drummond. Devotion, veteran. Damage an enemy unit by Skjordal's base power. So, in round 1, he's a 3. And he does 3 damage, but he's got veteran, so on round 2 he's a 4, does 4 damage. Around 5, he's a 5, does 5 damage. He can be resurrected. He is a warrior. You can draw him from your deck with Blood Eagle. He causes Harald An Craite to ping things. You kind of get the picture. We have Skel. Skel is a 7 strength card with 10 provisions. We have Berserk 5, which means if he goes down to 5 strength, he's going to kill himself. But typically, your opponent doesn't necessarily want to use the damage for that. You can also play it late in the round when they've used damage on other things like the Greatsword. Or Herkja, for example. And he's an alright card. You can pull him from the deck with Echo. He's a warrior. You can resurrect him with Second Wind as well. We have Donner on Hinda, damage an enemy unit by 2. Hey look, this is also a warrior. Bloodthirst 2, damage an enemy unit by 4 instead, so we're getting some removal here. We have Herkja Drummond. Veil, so that means we can use the Drummon Villager on her as well. Zeal. And we have this option to split 3 damage randomly between enemy units on a row. But she's generally used just to play on the board as an engine, and then at the end of the turn, if we haven't used the order, she's just going to damage a random enemy by 1. So she's just really annoying. That's the thing about her. Look at her. Just annoying. Then we have Gigascope into Concoction, which just gives us some removal. It's just a nice removal card, even without the Ermion Package. We have the 1 Greatsword, because going all in on Greatswords is quite greedy, and I feel like when you have these kind of more mid-range cards instead, you know, 1 Greatsword is enough kind of thing, especially because we can resurrect it with Harald and with Second Wind, and we can target draw it with Blood Eagle. You know, we're pretty much guaranteed to play this card. We have 2 Drummon Berserkers. At the end of turn, damage self and a random enemy unit by 1. So he kind of pings himself and then damages himself, and if he gets down to 2 strength, he's going to turn into a 6 strength Bear Abomination. Also a warrior. And again, if he's about to transform, that's an option to apply the bleeding with Drummon Villager. This is what I mean, Drummon Villager is so easy to find a good target for in this deck. So we've got 2 of those. We've got 1 An Craite Raider Veteran, which means it'll go up to 6 points in round 3. Starts off as 4. Order damage a unit by 2. If you have Bloodthirst 3, you get Zeal. It's a warrior, it's a filler card. It gives a resurrection option with Harald. We've got a couple of Stunning Blows just for removal. Damage unit by 4. If it has armor, we deal 7 damage instead. We have a couple Tuirseach Invaders, which are just veterans with Veil. Start off as a 5, but they are a 7-point play or resurrect in round 3. We then have the An Craite Blacksmith, which is actually kind of the MVP in some ways. Boost an ally unit by 1, charge 1, gain a charge whenever you play a warrior. And you can see from the state of this deck, we are playing a heck of a lot of warriors. So yeah, I think it's a decent inclusion, all things considered. What else do we have in here? What else do we have? We have the Villager I mentioned, and then 1 An Craite Warrior. Give an enemy unit bleeding 3. If played from the graveyard, damage an enemy by 3 instead. So if we res him, we deal 3 damage, but otherwise we deal bleeding. Also a warrior. And yeah, that is kind of the bronze core and this deck in general. And you can see there's a lot of warriors, which means Harald kind of has great value. And then if they kill Harald, you can resurrect him. And similarly, the blacksmiths have great value, and we can more or less target draw the vast majority of this deck, right? So it's pretty powerful. But let's then have a look at the Wild Boar of the Sea variant that I've put together, just for those of you guys who prefer that. If you're going against more kind of swarmy lists, you know, ethereal stuff or that kind of thing, then having Wild Boar of the Sea is quite nice. So let's have a wee look at that list. So here we have the slightly different Wild Boar of the Sea variant, the boat face deck. And because we're running boats, we are now running Tactical Advantage, because it is a nice option to apply to the An Craite longships, right? So we've taken out some different cards. We've taken out the Svalbard Totem, for example, and we've taken out Hammond. And then we've put in Wild Boar of the Sea. We've traded out the Donner for a raiding fleet, and we've kind of adjusted the bronze package for boats. So we have a light longship, we have 2 An Craite longships, and we have raiding fleet, and I think 3 boats is a good amount for that in order to get these going. And these obviously synergize really well with Wild Boar of the Sea, because they allow you to damage your opponent's units, and Wild Boar of the Sea deals more damage to damaged units, right? You damage all damaged units by 1, and then everything also by 1. So damaged units get hit twice. And that is also a nice resurrect target for second wind and synergizes nicely with your one greatsword. So we have one light longship. We play that in the range row, and it damages itself and an enemy unit by 1 each turn. We then have the An Craite longships. We play them on the melee row. Whenever your opponent plays a unit, that gets damaged. And these, we can actually, thin one of these from the deck with Raiding Fleet. Give an enemy unit bleeding for 4 turns. Play a random bronze ship from your deck. So we have that option to kind of get the boats on the board. We then have 1 fewer An Craite Blacksmith as a result, right? We've had to adjust the bronze core slightly. So this list has fewer warriors, which means you're not going to get quite as much value from Harald, for example. But it does better against lists which are a bit more swarmy because you do have the option of Wild Boar of the Sea. So I'm going to play the Wild Boar of the Sea version first. I'm going to play this version first, and then we'll play the warrior version, and you guys can see the kind of difference in terms of how they play. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. The original kind of warrior version I did get from a player called Gravesh, who is from Team Leviathan Gaming, and he was ranked 2 on the ladder last season, so decent player. And then this version I've kind of built myself, to see how Wild Boar of the Sea runs. And I feel like the lists are relatively comparable, so I did want to kind of include this kind of boat variant for you guys. But without further ado, let's get into a ranked game, and I'll showcase this deck in action for you.
Not your lucky day.
So we're in a second wind mirror, which makes last say super important. So round 1, pretty vital that you win. Tyrggvi is a really nice option for round 1, just because you have the option of reach. We are going first, which is, I guess, maybe a little bit frustrating, but then we can get kind of engines on the go. Stunning Blow is also good if they're running boats, so we do have that option. And we can go looking for warriors with Blood Eagle. We also have the Wild Boar of the Sea, which we can always commit. I think I'm going to mulligan one of the invaders. Mokvarg. I don't hate it, I guess. I might also actually mulligan the other invader. Skjordal. No, we definitely don't want him. Okay, we got a light longship. That's not awful, right? We can pop that down on the back row in order to set up some damage options. And at this point, he then has to react to our boats rather than us reacting to his boats if he happens to have them. So this is quite a nice option. And if he's not running boats, the version, for example, without boats, then we don't have to react to his boats. We can react to his warriors instead. Okay, Blue Boy Lugos. That's a card. So whenever this unit takes damage a random enemy unit by 2, we really do not want to deal with that. But we also don't have a great way of killing it unless we apply Rupture, which we could do as a way of guaranteeing the round. However, chances are he's going to damage it anyway. And then we can deal our own damage. So maybe for now we just play this. I mean, so if we damage that, he's going to hit us back. And we just have to hope that the damage that we get back goes on the right target. Which wasn't this one, but whatever. We wanted it to hit the Berserker because it would have transformed. So if he's smart, I was gonna say if he's smart, he kills that. But now we can kill this, right? We play this. We ping this once. We play Stunning Blow. We no longer have to deal with that. And we're kind of back to square one. Except we no longer have a Stunning Blow, he no longer has Stunning Blow, and we no longer have our Berserker. But we have the option of resurrecting the Berserker now. So like if it doesn't transform, it's not the worst thing ever. I just realized, let's do that. It's not the worst thing ever if he doesn't transform, right? So this is kind of okay. We'll just have to kind of wait and see kind of where our opponent goes with this. But yeah, the Wild Boar of the Sea version I do think does a little bit better in the mirror, just because they don't have as many options to apply damage to things, right? So your Wild Boar of the Sea is going to be worth more than their kind of end game, but it does come down to last say like an awful lot. Like an awful lot. The problem in this situation is, well, the problem in this situation is we can't apply statuses to this, which means we can't play the Raiding Fleet. So maybe we just play the Scale for now. And we could ping this. I don't mind actually playing the ping here. Because, it'd be nice to be able to Blood Eagle, I suppose. And it does apply damage, which means if we do play the if we do play the Blood Eagle, we then have choice. So this is a pain. Let's do this. Okay, and there's another boat. I think we just float the ping for now. Because it's going to go down to 3 on the next turn, so we can ping it and play Blood Eagle that turn. We don't have to use it necessarily right this very second. Skjordal's probably going to die. But if he dies, I think that's fine. And then if we can pull a warrior, I think we pull Herkja, right? Herkja. Because I think we need to win this round, so having Herkja for that is going to be huge. Sigvald. Damage a unit by 1, cooldown 1. So... if he gets down to 4 strength, he does 2 damage, right? That's what Berserk is. Yeah. So let's ping this. Let's play Blood Eagle. Let's pull Herkja Drummond. Pop her down here. End of turn. So we don't want her to hit this, because now he does more damage. But on the flip side, I mean, I guess the Wildboar of the Sea also does more damage. So we don't necessarily want to play this or this round. I mean, this is okay, but this counters his Greatsword if he happens to run them. So the correct play probably on the next turn is just to click the Herkja and play the Wildboar. And then our graveyard isn't too bad either.
I could do this all day.
Okay, so this is actually not a bad rupture target. Because it means we can kill it on the next turn, right? So I think this is probably what we do here. And I'm actually okay playing Tyrggvi this turn. I mean, we would like to deal 1 damage to it, but we always have the option to deal 1 damage with the Demon. I mean, maybe we just do that. It could be that Herkja hits it, but I think we'll just do that for now. It just means the Rupture will kill it. Oh yeah, and of course the Herkja, of course, did then go and kill it. Thanks, Herkja. Thanks. But this gives us reach. And makes us more likely to win this round, which is pretty good. So then I think we click this. Right, we hope that it hits this, and then we play Wildboar. Although if this hits this, that's annoying. If we play Wildboar now, this takes 2, this takes 2. This dies, this takes 1. So that's on 3 and that's on 2. I guess that's okay. So ideally, with the Wildboar, we want it to hit this and not this. And what are the odds of that happening? I don't know. You could probably work it out. Let's just play it. So now we click this, because we don't want to play any more cards this turn on this row. I didn't kill the Herkja, which is kind of a shame, but we are up, which is nice. By 13. The issue is if he has Tyrggvi, he can always reach, right? But he's decided not to. Okay, this is great. So now we go into the next round. Our graveyard's good. We have Wildboar. We have Harald. We don't have a Greatsword in the graveyard, which would have been kind of nice to have. But we have Blood Eagle to find a Greatsword. Oh, well, there's a Greatsword. So then the question becomes, do we want to try and bleed a little bit? I think the answer is no. I think we have a good long round. And our hand is pretty good. So I think we just take the dry pass here. Because we have Last Say, and I don't want to give that up. Just, you know, as a attempt to bleed our opponent. So we can actually play the Greatsword from hand. And then see kind of if he kills it. Because if he kills it, we can then always res it with Harald. And we can do like a res with that as our final play. Okay. That's a good draw. That's a good draw. He's alright. What else do we want from here? Decoction would have been nice. Stunning Blow would be nice. These are okay. Yeah, I think we do mulligan this. Especially because we have access to a warrior with Blood Eagle anyway. You know? That's an annoying card. Do we Skjordal that? I don't know. I think we can wait 1 turn. I think we can wait 1 turn. The issue we have, I want to also play the Greatsword on the correct row in terms of where we want to put our Greatsword. We're not too worried about his Greatsword because we can always Morkvarg it. So there's Harald. But if we kill Harald, we don't really want to kill Harald either, right? Killing Harald isn't really a good option. But if we res our Harald, if we play our Harald now, We can also second wind Herkja. That is annoying. Okay, that is an annoying card.
Who's next? Any of you's got the courage?
Okay. So if we play our Harald, we can resurrect the Drummond.
Here's the better loot than in your wildest
Do we even care about this?
dreams.
That's the other thing. Like, I'm not convinced that we do. I guess it makes Blood Eagle kind of awkward, but then it makes our Greatsword really strong. If we play Greatsword Heimdall. Right? Because now he's row stacking for us. And if he doesn't kill the Greatsword... I mean, I guess he has a Morkvarg.
Gods, not a moment.
So I don't really care that he removed the Veil either, is the thing. I mean, maybe we just play the Greatsword on the back row. We're gonna get a ping, aren't we? It might hit armor, but then he's a 5. It kind of opens up some space. But then he can play... Oh, but then he can play the Greatsword, right? That's the issue here. So the issue we have is if he plays a Greatsword... But then he would want to play a Greatsword on the front row. He wouldn't want to play it on the back row. Unless we play the Greatsword, then he would. Okay, we want to wait. I guess we just play Greatsword Wild Boar, right? That's our finisher. So we play this last, and then everything else we just play beforehand. I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
If I go down,
So if we damage this, it's going to gain armor. But it's going to do that anyway, so we probably just want to play Morkvarg now. Nah, because if we play Morkvarg, then he can play the Greatsword on the back row. So maybe we stack the front row, right? If we stack the front row, if he plays a Greatsword, he has to play it front row. So, actually, this is quite tactical.
I will not bend my neck for that.
There we go. And then if we Blood Eagle, we can get the Drummon Berserker. We can get the An Craite Warrior. Do we have a Veil unit? Yeah, we do. So we can use that.
What is this?
Look how many damage units we have. We are going to get so much value off the Wild Boar of the Sea. So I guess we just play this, right? So we can have the bleeding for the longest turn. Once we play this. I'm going to play this, I think. Put this down. Give this bleeding. And turn. Like, I think Greatsword Wild Boar is our final play. Because each of those is going to get hit by 2, basically. That's huge. It's absolutely huge. Do we care about the Rupture? I don't think we do. I guess the issue we have is that the Morkvarg is not ideal. You know? But...
We'll turn to see red. Red!
I mean, maybe we just play Heimdall. Yeah, I think we just play Heimdall. Thanks for stacking the row! And that's why this isn't really that great. Oh, you just killed Harald. So we also have the option of resing Harald now. We can also res Tyrggvi. But that's just going to go in there, which isn't great. Now, there's no way you don't res Wild Boar of the Sea here, right? There's Morkvarg. So, I mean, our Morkvarg isn't ideal, I guess, but we can just use it to damage this for Wild Boar. I think that's fine. Do that. Be happy. Oh my god, our Harald put in so much work there as well. He must, see, and he's road stacked. He's road stacked, and that's just silly. You just don't want to do that. But round 1 was huge. We managed to win round 1, and that was big. We're gonna be that person. I guess we'll be that person. Well played.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
We do this. We get our Wild Boar of the Sea, and we get 1,000,000 points in one play. So remember when he was 20 points behind? We were 20 points behind, and then we ended up about 20 points ahead. So all else equal, you know, if you're playing against a lot of Skellige, The Wild Boar version does feel pretty good, I'm going to be honest with you, because you can do stuff like that. Like, this is the reason it shines, and especially when your opponent plays Covenant and row stacks just for you, it's just going to make your life better. Because we didn't really need to kill anything on his side of the board, right? We dealt enough damage with Harald and with our boat, the longship, An Craite longship and stuff, so pretty decent. But yeah, let's jump into another game now, and I'll play the more warrior-centric version of this list, which... it has more synergies in terms of the warriors and stuff, but does worse in certain matchups, I guess. So let's do that. Okay, so we are against Gurnakora, and Gurnakora typically means ethereal, which is really quite irritating. So having something that deals damage in the graveyard is fantastic, because it allows us to try and shut that down by using Second Wind to resurrect a graveyard target, and then also playing something like a Stunning Blow. You know, it's a really good option. I'm going to mulligan Harald. He's not good in round one, and he kind of clogs up the hand. I don't think I want both of these Drummon Villagers. Do I? I'm mulligan one of them, why not? We didn't want that. This is the other card you don't want in round one, is Skjordal, just because he's not great value. So Gurnakora probably means ethereal, and ethereal is one of those things that's kind of a pain in the butt. We'll see. Oh, he's got Ichern, okay. Ichern is fine, we can just kill that with Morkvargwin if we need to. It's also a good Tyrggvi target. He hasn't transformed this, which might mean it's just a kind of regular ethereal list, which I think we're okay with. I'm just going to play the Invader for now. I want him to play a few more units onto the board before I start to use things like the Berserker, because I don't want the Berserker to hit the Morkvarg if I'm going to kill it. Or not to hit the Ichern if I'm going to kill it with Morkvarg. And I don't want the Berserker to hit the Gurnakora's Fruit. We do really want to win this round, though, because Last Say is going to be quite big for us, because it means that we can Morkvarg his Osril. Although sometimes the Osril player does eat your... Sometimes the Morkvarg player does eat your... What does he eat? The Morkvarg player eats your Harald, which is really annoying. So if it's in the graveyard, they have that option to kind of counter it. In round 2, and if they're smart, that's what they'll do. And Draga, and Dregegs, and Dreg Egg. There's a pun in there somewhere. Welcome to my life, where I make terrible puns. So I think we just play Herkja for now. Just get another engine on the board, because this is also going to start damaging. Well, can we not hit the Thrive units? Going to start damaging things, which is good for us because it means that we'll get more value out of Donar. This might not be an ethereal list, though. Typically when I see Gurnakora, I expect ethereal, but it doesn't guarantee it. A Neuromancy. Oh, that's not a very powerful card to eat. So I'm assuming there's a beast. If there's a beast, we can always rupture it. The one thing is we don't want it to consume. Hugo is Pogo, Champo. If we go down, though, if we go down to 4 cards, we're still kind of fine here. But I do think we're going to need to spend something to kind of get a bit ahead. So maybe we just play Morkvarg now onto the Ichern. Because that's going to give us tempo, which means we can then play Tyrggvi to take the round. So let's do that. It also means that Herkja's not going to waste her time anymore. Right? Yeah, so this is good. This is good. This is good. I like it. I like it. Just shoot everyone. Huh, this is why you see 2 10s and you're like, Igni. If only I ran Igni in my Devotion deck. No. Obviously Devotion cards don't work with Igni. There's the Beast. That's also a really good Rupture target. It's also a good... I don't know, actually. I was going to say Stunning Blow, but I guess you don't really want to Stunning Blow it. The problem here, we're not really getting a lot of value out of Donar. We're going to play this for now, though. And we'll put the bleed on a big target. Because then if they do consume it, we then get an even bigger target for Rupture. And this gives us so much reach, right? This is the thing. Like, even if he passes here, he's like, oh, I'm ahead. I've got the dog. But, like, we have reach. We also have this. Which we can trigger. So he's not really in a good position. Oh, why didn't I Giga Scorpion Decoction this? That's like I forgot this was in my hand. It's like there's so much that you barely see any of it when it's tucked in like this. That's my excuse. Like, I forgot this was in my hand, you guys. I mean, we can still kill it next turn, right? We play Giga Scorpion Decoction and we play Herkja for 3 damage. Does that put us ahead? This gives us 6, 7, 8. Doesn't put us ahead. I guess we just play Tyrggvi. And there's nothing you can do. Skellige, Skellige, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when I come for you? Skellige, Skellige. All my cards are good. My deck has no pathetic cards. Monsters. I mean, Monsters is a good matchup for Skellige anyway. Oh dear. Do we want to bleed an Arrakis deck? I mean, we're not playing full. We're not playing full. We're not playing the full Swarmy version like with Wild Boar, so we probably do want to bleed a little bit. If we're gonna bleed, Totem would be a nice option for that. This gives us 8. Harald would also be good. This isn't gonna be that good. Blood Eagle is good. So I think we do have to go for a little bit of a bleed. The alternative is we go for like a Morkvarg Osrul play. We don't have Harald. But we can, if we can get something to a 2, and against Fruits. Actually, against Fruits, because I don't know why I thought it was Swarm, it's Fruits. So Fruits of Isgith, it's not necessarily a Swarm list. So we could take the Dry Pass. If we take the Dry Pass... I mean, I would like to put Great Swords in the graveyard, right? Like, we would like to have that option. I just don't want to get this bleed out of hand. That's my concern, right? Is if you go for a bleed and then you lose last say. Because we do want to be able to get the Osrul. How is our long round? Our long round isn't bad. But I also, this is an Echo card, so it benefits from being played twice. So part of me is like, but I have an Echo card. We're going to play a little bit. I mean, we have 8 points in Skjordal, right? So we do have some tempo play options. He'll play a Gurnakora's Fruit, which enables Blood Eagle onto literally anything. Warrior-wise. So we can also play Skjal. And there's, see, it's an ethereal list. It's an ethereal list, boys and girls. I didn't see that one coming. So I'm happy. I'm happy because, although he's played, which is kind of annoying, and we don't have Skjordal in the graveyard, which is also kind of annoying, we found out what kind of list he's running. And so, with that said, if we play the Blood Eagle, we could get a Greatsword. And I think ultimately that is a good option in this situation, because it also means I have the option of rezzing a Greatsword and playing Heimdall. So let's do that. End turn. And if he kills the Greatsword, we can rezz it. And if he doesn't kill the Greatsword, then we have a Greatsword. You know? You know? See, he just played a Neuromancy for natural selection. And I'm kind of okay with this round going on a wee bit. Because it also means he's not played a unit here. Oh, well, now he has. Right? Like, I feel like I'm still okay with this. So I want to play Skjordal Drummon because I want him in the graveyard in case he does try and do the strategy again in the next round. But then I feel like I'm countering myself. That's the other concern. Like, I feel like a little bit like I'm countering myself in doing that. In which case, maybe we play Donar. But then if we can get a second Bloodthirst... Well, we can't really get a second Bloodthirst unless we play this. Maybe just play this. Let's just play this. I don't know. I'm not overly worried about losing last say necessarily here. Or even about playing these cards, right? Haunt. Okay. So we can kill his Konsumi friend. This thing. And then he plays Barghest and he plays... I mean, do I care? Do I care is the next question. I think the answer is no. I think we just... I mean, we might as well just keep bleeding. The only issue is we lose last say with Osrul. But then we could always use Second Wind onto the Greatsword. Plus the... Second Wind onto the Greatsword plus the Hemdall. I feel like I'm okay with that. But then if we're gonna play the Greatsword, do we want to play it now? And then we've used our leader. So we would have used our leader. Or do we just save it for the next round? Then we have to top deck into Stronka. But we have a lot of mid-range... This bleed is a little bit awkward. But then we got Haunt out of him, we got Ethereal out of him. The question is then how much more do we want to spend? You know? I do think we want to play Donar here. I think we're okay with that. Like, it's not a hugely beneficial card. Let's just end the turn. So, Hemdall is going to be good this round. It gives us 12 points. If we res a Greatsword, the 4 points of damage give us another 4 points. So the Greatsword is another 8 points. I don't think that's a good res, actually. We've also got Tyrggvi. Bear in mind this consumes things, right? So if we Tyrggvi the Barghast, that plays for... Well, we'll see. Okay, so he stopped spawning ethereals. So if we Tyrggvi the Barghast... I mean, I guess we lose out on the reaction to the Osril here, which is kind of bad. I don't see how we get better value from Hemdall. There's 8 units there. So now the Greatsword suddenly plays for... But then maybe he has Heatwave. Right, he's playing a Neuromancy, so he could have Heatwave. And if he has Heatwave, then the Greatsword just dies. But then we've lost last say and the Greatsword just dies anyway. I think we need to play Hemdall this round anyway, because we're not going to see huge value from it. Is whether we play our leader as well. I think that we don't play the leader. Because it gives us access to Tyrggvi on the final round. I don't know, the Greatsword would play for 12. So we get 16 and 12. 28. We're down by... So it would put us slightly at... Nah, it's not worth it. Okay, so we can't spawn any more fruit anyway. But he does have to play another card. The Giga Scorpion Decoction isn't really helping us. Would have been better if we played that in the previous round to kill the beast. This is one of those irritating situations where we didn't have damage in the graveyard the way that I wanted to. Which is kind of annoying. We're going into a short round. If we draw into Harald... Actually, we're going to draw Svalbard Totem, right? Not Svalbard Totem. So we can guarantee the Harald. Because we're going to draw into the Eagle Friend. We're drawing into Blood Eagle, so then we play Harald. And then we res something. And then I think we're okay with that. We lost our card, though. And that was the decision we were kind of making there is... are we going to be able to stay ahead? The answer was no. But then, going into this as a long round would have been painful. So I'm kind of glad that we bleeded? I don't know, I'm just happy. I think I'm happy with the situation, actually. That's good. That's good. That's less good. I mean, nah, because we have the Giga Scorpion Decoction, so we don't need this. That's good. And we can target draw this. Okay, I think I'm happy. I think I'm actually very happy with this hand. It means if he tries to do ethereal strats with, say, Renew, we can just shut that straight down, right? Because we can then res the Skjordal plus play the Giga Scorpion Decoction. And that's pretty okay. Go and play your Renew, do it. Opponent is deciding. Oh, it's Caranthier. Okay, so you don't have ethereal anymore. Okay, you do have that. That is quite annoying. So... he's going to consume a bunch of things. But then we have Morkvarg, which we can res. Which I think is fine. And this is going to go on... But I don't know which row. So the issue... is if I res a Greatsword, I want to put it on a row that's going to have a big unit. I guess we just put it on the front row. We just have to put it on the front row. Okay, Blood Eagle, let's do it. Harald. If he has heat wave, he has heat wave. Front row. I think this is probably still sensible. End turn. It would have been nice if it had killed this, I suppose. But then he plays Kayran on the back row. But then, even if he does that, we can res the Morkvarg and shoot it full of holes. I think we're kind of okay here. That laugh. Don't play it in the melee row. I guess it comes back to the melee row, doesn't it? No, the same row. That's an interesting choice. So let's just play our totem. And then end our turn. I guess he's gonna eat them. But that plays into Morkvarg. Oh, for God's... This is not correct. I guess unless you have Heat Wave. I guess if you have Heat Wave, this is fine. But now I have such a good Morkvarg target. And in the meantime, let's play this. No, could you have hit something else, please? Like, if he has an answer to the... Oh, I maybe misplayed there. I maybe should have gone Morkvarg. Because if he K-Rans and eats the... If he K-Rans and eats the Endrugger, that would have been quite bad. So if we Giga Scorpion Decoction this, we get 5 points on this. This comes back, but it's going to come back anyway. Right? So I think we do this. Even though it comes back. Click this. Do we go greedy? Nah, because if he has Heat Wave, we win. Because he would just get rid of 11 this points, right? And I would still have Morkvarg. And if he has a Consume, we win. So I think we just win. I think we just win. But I think our opponent could have played around our Greatsword, like, massively. And then it would have been a little bit dicey. Because if he has Heat Wave, it's 17. We are up a few. We're up 18, to be precise. So Heat Wave isn't enough. Erden. Still not enough.
Last words.
Oh, he just reset himself. He's like, this is not enough points. Okay, Erden, I guess, equated to the same thing as Heat Wave. Well, we win. We win! Hooray! Good job. Good job, everyone. That puts us on promo as well, actually. Look at this. Look at this. Skellige. Skellige, you get me to pro ladder. Yeah, those are the two different decks. I quite enjoyed the Wild Boar version. I think it's good fun. I think the Warrior exclusive version, though, is better. It has some better options for short rounds with stuff like the Totem, for example. So in certain matchups, it does kind of do a little bit better. It just depends really what you enjoy, and that's why I wanted to kind of show both options, because I felt like for today's video it would be good to kind of highlight a couple different strategies with Skellige. I think Skellige is just really strong. You know, my deck has no bad cards, kind of thing, and that's a happy place to be. That is a happy place to be. So yeah, if you like the deck, maybe leave a like on the video. You can always go and upvote the two guides. There are two of them. There'll be two deck links with two decks on the Play Gwent website. That does really help me in terms of getting some exposure for the channel, and is always really appreciated. Shoutouts to Team Leviathan Gaming, especially Gravesh, who made the Warrior version, and then I kind of customized it for the Wild Boar of the Sea version. So that's kind of where that's come from. And we'll have a link to the Team Leviathan Gaming website in the description also. They post meta reports and deck guides. They have a lot of good resources for beginner players as well. And they help me prep for tournaments as a commentator, so I've got to have a lot of love for them. Beyond that, have a lovely day. Let me know what you think of the current state of the meta in the description below, in the comments, in the description. You guys can't edit the description. Let me know how you're feeling about Gwent in the comments below. If there's anything you'd like to see on the channel, moving forward, how you feel about this deck. Beyond that, have a awesome day wherever you are in the world. I hope you have a fantastic day, and hopefully I will catch you in the next video. You can always follow me on Twitter, @Jaggerous. Bye! What is this wave?